Do not adjust your set. That is the Xayid in the bottom right. A custom mod alternative Zerg race. And this time, we're gonna pit the Xayid against the actual Zerg. Even better is that our Zerg player is a 2012 science fiction horror film directed by Ridley Scott. He is Prometheus! And he is a brave dude playing a traditional race in a custom tournament. First feeding pool already down for our Xayid player. This basic structure has a triple function. It increases supply, it has a limited form of healing for units, and you need it nearby to put down the Xayid turret known as the Bile Pit. I mean, who doesn't love a Bile Pit? Actually, this guy, he'd rather be a hatchery. Yes, it's a hatch first for Prometheus. Xayid Den going down for our Xayid player. Oh, and slightly earlier gas for Zerg. I wonder if he skipped a drone there. And the Siphoner starting up for the Xayid. Same thing, a rose by any other name, I suspect. Spawning pool down, normal timing. Scavenger headed down to the natural. He's got the minerals to put down that scavenger nest. Or he will anyway. Costs more than a hatch. It's 400 minerals. It may look like disgusting goop, but it's high-class disgusting goop. Ooh, even more costly. Not sure what happened there. We've all had those accidental cancels when the fingers fly. I know I've been there. One thing for sure, our Xayid player can think in binary. He's not Quor and, he's Quor or! Last time we saw Quor, he put up a terrific game for us. He showcased a lot of units. Spawning pool's gonna complete just a little bit before that hatch. The first Xayidling is already in production. I'm really starting to warm up to those little guys. The hatch geyser's fourth. Just a single queen, so no, it's a double queen. And it's gonna be 6 lings to follow it. We could be seeing some early aggression out of our Zerg player. I definitely like that strat. If Xayidlings are supposed to be weak against light units, it makes sense to go at them with light units early. This little theory of mine, though, breaks down if Quor starts making roamers. But right now, all he's got is a single Xayidling. What is the rush distance on Nightshade? It's been a little while since we've used this map. Oh, Prometheus is picking up ling speed. Methinks this is gonna get interesting. Mutagen chamber completes for the Xayid. That will unlock the roamer. Also the Mendling and the Scorpilisk. But the lings are already out on the map. Speed is halfway done. A roamer is in production. We are definitely getting some early drama here. 2 more Xayidlings about to pop. Prometheus hesitates. He makes his move. There's 3 undefended scavengers available for kills. Quor with a very quick worker pull. That lets the Xayidlings intercept. They do have range. And this amazing pounce ability. It's called dash and they get an attack boost when they use it. So much for not being good against light. The Xayidlings handled those lings just fine. No scavenger kills and minimal scouting information. And Quor even picks up that first blood trophy. Ling speed is gonna finish though. I don't think Quor will find future Zerglings quite as easy. Lair tech starts for our Zerg player as well. Kasnalisk Den for Quor. Everybody's teching hard. The Kasnalisk is a powerful spellcaster, but it takes a lot of skill and practice to use, believe me. Prometheus is making defensive spores at his main. He's doing this blind. There's nothing on the horizon that I can see. Though I suppose the Kasnalisk could cloak some units on him. There's that roamer. She's like the cool girl. She's got a gaggle of Xayidlings all around her. Spore at the natural for Prometheus as well. I think he's just executing a practice timing. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a believer in the safety spore. I also bring a parachute when I skydive. I'm just that conservative. Oh, I think that roamer's a bad influence. He's just talked those Xayidlings into heading out onto the map. I gotta be honest with you. The Xayid is really vulnerable to peer pressure. Anywho, check the speed on that roamer. The 4-legged dude is clearly beating out the 6. We've seen Quor attempt this move before. He uses the roamer's scour ability to get sight up on the high ground. That's intel he can use for his Xayidlings to attack. Oh, there's that scour. Oh, but it also gives away his location. The lings jump on it. The lings have the surround. Those Xayidlings cost 75 minerals each. This is looking like a very efficient takedown for Prometheus. Quarr's army is wiped out. He has to remake back at home. Prometheus is looking to keep the pressure on. He's adding 10 more Zerglings. Fortunately, Quarr does have a Prowler out. He is a wizard with that unit. But the acid nests are not done. The Lings are going to take some down. Blind goes off. The Lings are temporarily unable to attack, and the Xayid seize the advantage. Big time save with that Prowler. +1 attack about to finish up for the Xayid. +1 attack affects every single ground unit in the Xayid army. And you research it at the mutagen chamber, which is a tech structure you're almost certainly going to make anyway. It's a bit analogous to the Protoss Cybercore. Oh, double blind! Oh, the Speedlings cannot handle that. Before I was rudely interrupted by that very cool combat, I was going to say the mutagen chamber is analogous to the Protoss Cybercore because it's a tech structure that pretty much unlocks everything. So you want it as soon as possible, and the fact that it unlocks upgrades is just icing on the cake. Okay, Prometheus appreciates he's just lost his advantage, so he's putting down some spine crawlers. Quarr is researching mutate bile ducts at the Casnalis Den. That's a core upgrade for the roamer, increasing attack speed and range. If Prometheus stays on Zerglings alone, he could really be penalized by that. But he's not. He's putting down a spire. Prometheus also got his third down much earlier than Quarr. Our Xayid player is just putting down his third scavenger nest now. 3 more roamers in production and +1 ground carapace for Quarr. Our Xayid player is really taking map control at this point. And he's being smart about it. He's putting down a bile pit to protect the mineral line at his main. Another big round of Speedlings from Prometheus in production. And Overseers, that's a good call. He knows that there's acid nests on the map now. In addition to blinding opposing units, those Prowlers can also plant those little burrowed Baneling things. I love that they have a cost to them, even if it's just 10 minerals, 10 gas. It gives it a really nice interplay. To balance out its powerful abilities, the Prowler doesn't actually have a physical attack. Prometheus is pushing out his creep. Nightshade is one of those maps where everything seems to come up the middle. Makes it easier to know where best to put those creep tumors. Oh, there's a Reviler mixed in there. That's a heavy hitter. Prometheus has 40 Lings. Is that enough to hold this off? There's 2 Prowlers capable of blinding that army. A lone Ling's gonna try to scout the timing on that third. Quarr's dropping acid nests at the edge of the Zerg base. That's gonna give him a great fallback position. Prometheus is adding additional spine crawlers. He needs to slow down the attack that's coming. He's stockpiling gas, presumably for a big round of mutas. Quarr's looking to make a play for that third. He wants to hit before those spine crawlers pop. I think he's too late. Lings are gonna pounce, but they're gonna have to survive the blinding burst. There it is. It's a 10-second cooldown before Quarr can use it again. Zerg is targeting the Reviler. He got it. That's big, and everything else falls, including the Prowlers get trapped. Not even an alien ninja can escape being pinned to a wall by a pack of wild Zerglings. I belatedly just realized if we're playing on Nightshade, that gives me excuse to do this. Now we can better appreciate these Xayid units. There's a whole bunch of Revilers being made now. Quarr is about to finish another roamer upgrade, the Calcified Husk. That may sound like one of my personal hygiene problems, but it actually adds +20 hit points to the roamer. Oh, was that on purpose? I think it was. Prometheus is sacrificing Lings to clear out the acid nest. He's got a big pack of mutas on the way, though. Couldn't they do it? He doesn't want to wait. He wants to get active with his Lings right now. He's got a big bank of minerals happening right now. Minimal defense at the third. Just 1 bile pit right now. The regenerative feeding pools are not yet ready. The Overseer is going to spot the situation. The Lings are going to come in to take advantage. Quarr's army's going to respond. Those roamers right in the front. The blinding bursts are so good. But you see the way he moves his roamer into position to set it off. There's still micro involved. So the mutas are on the map now, and now this gets really interesting. The Revilers have the ranged attack to be quite effective against mutas. But not necessarily the mobility. The mutas can really abuse the terrain here. All the destructible debris on Quarr's side of the map has become a liability. He's picking up the range upgrade for his Xayidlings. Remember, they do have the ability to shoot up. Are the adaptable Zerg getting out-adapted here? Prometheus is adding a pair of extractors. He's just not getting enough gas to fuel his muta production. Meanwhile, Quarr's third is looking well protected. Acid nests, feeding pools, and extra bile pits. Interesting, Quarr is actually losing on resources lost right now. He's compensated for this, though, with the superior income. Here come those maneuverable mutalisks. That's a tongue twister. Maneuverable mutalisks make much murder. There's only 6 of them though. They haven't hit that critical mass where they just kind of destroy everything they look at. There's those revilers to defend. Who named those poor revilers? No wonder they have a self-esteem problem. Nobody loves us, everybody hates us. Think I'm gonna eat some Terran? Help break the cycle, people. Be nice to a reviler. Compliment them on their bright spikes, or their massive DPS from range if you're so inclined. They kind of remind me a little bit of hedgehogs. I know they're not supposed to look fuzzy, but they kind of do to me. Quar wants to make another play for the 3rd. It didn't go well for him last time. Lings are in the exact same elevated defensive position, though a lot more firepower for Quar this time. Their army size is almost equal here. Quar goes for the spine crawlers. They are just melting to the upgraded Xayid. Blinding Burst gets auto-casted and wasted on the drones. But Quar's not after drones, he's taking down the hatch! It's a horror pinata! Prometheus did not attack, he's decided to sack his 3rd, and now he's gonna go! Speedlings on Creek close on the revilers. Huge blinding burst on the Lings again. It doesn't get the mutas though, they're focusing down the revilers. It's not a good day to be a hedgehog. There's a ton of roamers wishing they could shoot up. If the mutas can finish the revilers and the Zydlings, they'll have a complete rock, scissors, paper win. They do. Quar's got to flee, but he leaves knowing he took down the 3rd. He's actually got a 4th base, so with a 2 base advantage, he's in a very good position. A big time income advantage, and it's already translated into a supply differential. A ton of that current supply is locked up in units that are not useful against mutas right now. But this big wave of revilers and Zaidlings kinda is. And Quar is really dropping a ton of bile pits to make it difficult for those mutas. The positive for Prometheus is he does have a mineral bank. Maybe if he goes for crackling and a macro hatch, he could get the supply to match the Xayid army. In the meantime, I think the mutalisks are gonna have to go on tour and see what they can pick off here. If they're good at their job, they'll be able to keep the Xayid ball sort of trapped at its base. That would buy him time to rebuild that shattered economy. He's down over 20 workers right now, and it won't be too long before he's facing a double upgrade disadvantage. I think he's gambled and passed on the evolution chamber. Yeah, he's really focused on his mutas, so his limiting factor is going to be how quickly he can get gas. And with only 2 hatches, that's a bit of an issue for him right now. Oh, I do believe Quar has gone for a biomass cavern. That's going to unlock the massilisk. That's a unit we've never had on this channel before. And it's pretty cool. If you haven't seen it before, this will be fun. If you don't like the massilisk, I say good day to you, sir. OMG, look how quickly these rocks are getting shredded. The DPS that Death Ball has. I think the idea is that you can really punish a Xayid player who goes heavy on revilers. They need to be escorted by tanks and screeners. But if your opponent's going heavy on the mutas, why not go heavy on the revilers? Full hedgehog. Speaking of hedgehogs, what is the deal with hedgehogs anyway? Why can't they just share the hedge? Get over it, man. Take turns. Or get a hedge that's big enough for everyone. Massilisks in production. It's a big beefy unit. It's got a ranged attack and it can actually kind of turn into a turret. Almost like a siege tank that can hit air. If you think that sounds bad for mutas, then you and I are kind of on the same wavelength. These mutas really need to do their damage now because I think their window is rapidly closing. They can't straight up face those revilers, but at least they can keep them busy if they keep moving. Just a really big bang for our Zerg player. There's also an upgrade for the revilers at that biomass cavern. We might be seeing that too. I don't like Prometheus's position right now, but I never count out a big ball of mutas. How many times have you seen them orchestrate a comeback by grinding down their opponents? Look who's here and sporting a really outrageous hat. These bad boys cost 300 minerals and 200 gas each. Not coincidentally the same as an Ultralisk. Quar's researching piercing thrust. That lets the Zaidlings do extra damage against armored targets. Not that Prometheus has a lot of those right now. The tubby Massilisks. Hustling up the hill. And then they hunker. That's the name of their half burrow. The range on the Massilisk isn't huge. Yeah, but it's enough. Mutas, get out of there. They do not want to face that, especially not with the revilers nearby. Now, as you can see, Quar can unburrow those Massilisks and reposition them at any time. And now he's pushing out with his main army. Prometheus is definitely committed to his muta tech. He's researching +1 air attack. He is working on his hive tech, but this flock of death is really the sum total of his army. He's hoping he's got enough to focus down those bile pits. It looks like he does. Korra's army was brought forward. He's gonna have to pull it back. Pulling back the Xayid army is a big win for the Zerg right now. I'm not sure if Korra appreciates it or not, but if his army gets to the Zerg doorstep, he probably wins the game. Prometheus grabs a feeding pool. Now we're seeing what mutas are capable of. Remember, every one of those mutas regenerates at 1.4 hit points per second, way faster than other Zerg units. As long as he keeps rotating his stack, he can take those bile pit hits. He doesn't want the splash of a massilisk hit though, he's gotta get out of there. But again, having the massilisk run all the way back to the main, that's a win in and of itself. More feeding pool hits are good, but the Xayid army is pretty much maxed. Well, that'll supply block him at least. And you can't build a feeding pool at the speed that you build an Overlord. Oh, I think Korra's figured it out. He's figured out he doesn't have to care. If he moves in on the Zerg base, I'm not sure what Prometheus can do about that. He's whacking away at the Zerg fourth here. But if he can't attract the turnaround, I'm not sure it matters. Okay, there's spine crawlers, that's good, but there's just too much Xayid. That Massilisk in the death ball just cracking me up. Which of those dudes kind of sticks out? Oh, those poor queens, they did not sign up for this. Oh, Korra blinds them before he murders them. Muta's coming home to defend, but they have to fly over the Massilisk. Oh, every part of this has gone ugly. Behold the Xayid as they take control of the game. And it's GG. The supply differential was just too decisive. Congratulations to Korra. Very fun to watch the Xayid match up against the Zerg. Glad we could showcase a bigger piece of the Xayid arsenal. One thing that was clearly big for Korra in this matchup was his blinding bursts. That's that radius attack coming from the Prowler. It's vaguely similar to a Raven's interference matrix. If you can indulge me, my theory is the future of the ZVX matchup is that the Zerg is going to have to send out single units to set off the blinding burst and then pounce during the cooldown. Because whereas Interference Matrix takes out a single unit, Blinding Burst takes out a whole army. I think that's going to make for some great micro exchanges. The Xayid player either has to focus down that triggering Ling before it sets off the Blinding Bursts, or he's got to take off the autocast and trigger it manually as a surprise. Either way, it's going to make for some really cool micro. So let's see how this matchup develops. If you're new to the channel, feel free to support it and subscribe. And to encourage you to do so, I'm going to leave you with an interpretive dance by a quartet of Massilisks. Okay guys, just like we rehearsed, I really want to feel that emotion. Come on, you can be honest. Boyband's got nothing on these guys. They're completely lockstep. Maybe next time I'll see if I can get them to sing. Anyway, I was trying to get them booked on America's Got Talent, but they ate the producer. So yeah, admittedly there's still a few kinks to be worked out, but I really think they have potential. Alright boys, nice work. Now take a bow for us. Alright, thanks for humoring me. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.